On the line now, teacher, commentator, king of Twitter, Mike Stuchbery. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Derryn. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Look, I am surprised. I know you have written articles about this, and I've seen other people, and on Twitter it's a continuing debate, but in general it's not seen as a major issue, even this separation of state and church and state.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's something that's been really surprising me. And look, I've worked in independent schools throughout my career, and I've had nothing but good things to say about their religious education programs. But what we're talking about here is the state system, a public system, as a system for those who don't hold a particular worldview, or for whatever reason can't send their kids to an independent school. And one group, one particular organisation, which is not really representing as many Australians as they claim to do, has got a foothold in there, and they've got these strange messages that they're sort of sending out there. That the devil is a real living enemy, and that that chaplains are there to pass the message of Christ on, at the opportune moment. And I think there's something a little bit sus there. In fact, there's something a lot sus there.
Well, I would say so. Now, I noticed a quote. I mentioned Gavin Marshall. He's the Senate Education Committee chairman, and he told an estimates hearing that this is going back to Scripture Union with their view on homosexuals. And he says, look, he queries. He said, that's what scares me about this as a parent. I mean, why this organisation would be allowed to participate in the program if they hold such harsh views on anything.
Yes, well, I've got a big interest in youth mental health and in students accessing services for when they're experiencing depression or family breakup or something like that. And it's really important that kids are encouraged to talk. And one of the things that I really find worrying is that a lot of these schools, instead of getting a qualified counsellor or welfare officer or somebody who's sort of to the kids represents someone who's a neutral ear, someone who's willing to listen to them, are getting these chaplains. And a lot of these chaplains are coming from not your not local, Anglican or Baptist church, but they're increasingly coming from sort of, your more Pentecostal parachurches, those sort of groups that have had some controversial ideas in the last couple of years, and have the kinds that we see in the deep south of the US, and it's those sort of ideas really getting a hold here.
Yeah, and also, there's supposedly a teacher is meant to be in attendance at all time, but I'm told that doesn't happen. And the school chaplain I mentioned, she alludes to this in her speech, saying that if you have any trouble, then you can call a teacher, which means the teacher isn't in the room.
That's exactly right, because the legislation states that a teacher must be present during the SRI classes, but you've got to think that there are kids who are opting out, and they are not allowed to complete anything that even resembles work. They're not allowed to get any kind of leg up in terms of their studies. And this is primary school, but still there is an advantage that they could gain if they were, learning and getting their homework done in that time. So the teacher's often got to go and find them something to do, or make sure that they're fully supervised, and that's usually taking a teacher away from their own lesson preparation. Well,
I know that the CEO of ACCESS Ministries, Evonne Paddison, she has sent out letters to people trying to reassure them, saying how it's a valuable program. Quote, it does not evangelise or proselytise. Now, that is just not true.
Well, the thing that I sort of keep on coming back to and thinking about in relation to the proselytising issue is that if these people, volunteers for SRI, must have a very great degree of faith to decide that they want to go into schools and teach Bible stories. And many of them talk about, and Christine Burford talks about in the speech, about how she was called to spread the word of, spread the gospel, bring people to Christ. If there's a law that says you're not allowed to proselytise, and your God's saying, go and make converts, who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to pay attention to?
Yeah, that's true. All right, and it's not the end of it. We shall talk again. Thanks for your time.
No worries. Cheers.
Thank you. Mike Stuchbery.